Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you back to Ohio Exopolitics. I'm your host, Mark Snyder, and we are broadcasting live from the beautiful Dillon State Park here in East Central Ohio. I'd like to remind all of you to please press the follow button, and you'll be notified 1 hour prior to the start of each Ohio Exopolitics. And the music you hear at the beginning and the end of each show is performed by your host. As everyone I'm sure is aware of, our guest this evening is Tolec, and his website is AndromedaCouncil.com, and he's going to give us another interesting update on the reptilian basis. And I'd like to welcome Tolec back to the show. Tolec, how are you this evening?
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great, sir. It's good to hear your voice, and how's life treating you these days?
Doing good. It's been very busy, and been a very busy couple of weeks. I mean, it's always busy, but
I'm sitting here watching the number of people climb up on the chat room. We've crammed 123 people in now.
Oh boy!
And the callers are lining up on the switchboard. But I know you want to give an update before we start taking calls.
Sure.
So I'll let you take the stage at this point. Go ahead.
Okay, you're very kind. Then what I'll do is I'll provide as brief as possible, abridged version of the whole report. It's an ongoing report. It's not finished yet because they haven't completed the actual destruction part of the final undersea base. But it's been ongoing since the late evening of Friday, March the 9th. And so I'll pick it up from that point in time. There were, I use an Earth term, at least as military guys would understand it. There was a Delta strike force of about 100 combined people from Procyon and the Andromeda Council. 75 of them were Procyon people, 25 of them mixed Andromeda Council races that in the form of a Delta Force fashion, after days and days of scanning the ocean floor, ocean ridge, where this base is located, they had a difficult time locating it because it was actually hidden by holographic imaging. And therefore, when they kept sweeping this area, even using the sensors that they used, all they kept picking up was an ocean ridge and an ocean floor. So they had to keep sweeping it day after day after day. And they finally broke through and found, if you will, a front door opening of this last reptilian base on the morning of, it was like 3 a.m. on March the 16th, many days later. What they found was a massive, complex undersea base. It was far bigger than they could have anticipated, and it's taken them quite a bit of time to sweep through it. So I'll get through the details. When they broke through, they did it in a, if you will, a sort of a hand-to-hand combat situation, again because this base was so big. I'll ask everybody to think of a sort of like, I know it's an old metaphor, but a wagon wheel kind of concept where there was this round central core, if you will, the control center area of this massive base, about 100 feet high by about 60 feet in diameter. Operations, logistics, undersea sonar room, provisions, food supplies, everything to, if you will, man this Draco and Hydra reptilian undersea base. 10 floors, 100 feet high. There were 6 spokes laterally coming off of the center control hub. To each spoke was attached 3 buildings, 6 stories each for each of those 3 buildings, and attached to each of those 3 buildings was 2 pods, if you will. The pods are 95 feet in diameter each, They are about three stories high. They can hold, let me see my numbers, they can hold about 100 people for 6 months at a time, provisions, et cetera, et cetera. They're survival, escape pods, if you will. So what they found out as they're sweeping through this base is a complex of one hub central building. Let's see, we're looking at 36 of the additional 3 buildings, and then the 2 survival pods. They would contain 3,500 people. So in terms of survival pods, they could contain a good part of the force that they found down there. Now I'm going to move on. Here's what they found. They found 10,000 reptilians, and I'll do the breakdown, 2,000 of which are reptilian warrior soldiers, all high-ranking officers. Of those high-ranking officers, they captured what we would understand to be 1 5-star reptilian general and 1 2-star reptilian general. So out of the 10,000 reptilians, we've already identified 2,000 warrior soldiers, all high-ranking officers, 5,000 support staff supporting this military effort. In addition, and this is where it got really interesting, 3,000 combined Cabal Illuminati top key officials, middle management, and low-end officers. Low-end soldiers is a better way to say it. Out of these 3,000 combined Cabal Illuminati officials, there were 50 top Cabal Illuminati officers and 100 administrators. Of the 3,000, it further breaks down this way. 2,000 of these 3,000 Illuminati and Cabal officials, they were genetically blended and created reptilian humans. Now what that means is, if you were to be down there and looking at these people, you would essentially see someone that looks human but has different attributes that would clue you into the fact that they're reptilian, including the vertical slitted eyes. Now these are not Earth humans. What they did was essentially they took reptilian DNA, if you will, a petri dish, human DNA in a petri dish. They mixed them together and they created reptilian-human hybrids. 2,000 of these 3,000 Cabal and Illuminati officers, 2,000 were these human-reptilian hybrids. They were able to, in the sweep of this base, 8,000 of the support workers and their family members, et cetera, were transported through a stargate to the far outer edge of the known universe. A total of 2,000 of the Cabal Illuminati officers, reptilian soldiers, et cetera, were captured. They've been sent to the Andromeda Council primary biosphere for debriefing, for processing, and for trial under the universal court system for their war crimes against Earth people of Earth. And the final action, which is yet to happen because they're still going through, as you can imagine, there are a lot of buildings and a lot of places to hide. They're still sweeping through all the buildings, the 3 buildings on each spoke, the pods. They're sweeping through all of them to make sure that they've gotten everyone out. And the last action will be to blow the base up. And as I've indicated on the Andromeda Council website, the indicator for blowing the base up for its final destruction will be a light ball, an energy ball. Some people know it as an orb. It'll be roughly 8 to 10 feet in diameter. And that will be viewed off of a coastline or somebody that's out in the ocean. And that's the fast version of the report. Mark, I understand you've got 120 some odd people on the phone line, so I want to be here to take questions. But before I wrap this up, Mark, without revealing the location of the base because it is of sensitive strategic importance, I want to ask, you know where the base is located? I've told you about it?
Yes, I have that information.
Great. Okay, super. I can certainly talk at length and detail. I've already got 8 pages of this report written, except for the final closing statement. But rather than get into more of it in a report, I'd be happy to field questions. I'm happy to do so. So have your listeners go at it, and I'll start answering as fast as I can.
Okay. Yeah, we have currently 178 in the chat room, and we've got about 6 calls, I think. I have gotten some questions from a listener named Chris in Melbourne, Australia, and he says, in Alfred's recent interview with Grunwaldo Melchizedek, Grunwaldo spoke of a layer of the inner crust which would become liquid when the magnetic field drops to 0, allowing the crust to slip. I have not heard of this mechanism before. Is this the mechanism the Council is expecting? If not, how does the crust slip?
Okay. As always, I will speak what I know of and what I don't know of. I'll tell people plain and simple. I don't know. I personally am, given all of the conversations that I've had with my own contacts on the Andromeda Council, I'm not aware of what it is that's the mechanism that causes the Earth crust to slip. However, I do know that it is planned to slip. And sometime between this conversation today and January of 2014, I anticipate somewhere in the early 2013 time frame, the crust of the Earth will begin to move and continue to move such that you could call it 15 minutes, or you could call it 100, I want to make sure I say this right, 90 degrees. So essentially, if you look at a clock face, it's going to move from an west to east orientation of like 9 to 3 o'clock, and the whole crust of the Earth is going to move from that 9 to 3 o'clock orientation. Again, this is only the outer crust. It's going to move to 12 to 6 o'clock. Again, I don't know all of the reasons why, but as part of the manifestations of the Earth changes, that's one of the things that's on tap to happen. That's my full answer.
I've got a question from the chat room. MD Hutch 99 says, the 6-mile deep earthquake in Australia, was it part of the Pine Gap complex being taken out?
Quite honestly, I'm not aware of this 6.0 Australia earthquake. Did it happen recently?
I have no idea. I'm just passing out.
Okay. I know that the two Draco and Hydroreptilian undersea bases that were taken out back in, I want to say late November, early December of last year. In terms of undersea bases, those have been taken out. They were small bases. It was easy to take them out. It was not a difficult effort, but they're gone. My current understanding is that the Pine Gap base, which is above ground in the Alice Springs area, is still operational. That is not a reptilian-run base. That is an Earth bad guy military cabal Illuminati-run base. Yeah, they have HARP weapons there. They test new flight systems. They also test new kind of energy laser systems. That's pretty much the focus of that base, based on everything I've learned, and they're under close watch. As of 1 month ago, that's what I learned about the Pine Gap base in Australia.
Okay, I'm going to start taking calls now. And
okay.
First caller I'm speaking with is 805. State your first name and where you're calling from.
Oh, hi. This is Mike Hutchinson. I just posted that question about the Australian earthquake. The reason I thought it was suspicious is it's 6 miles deep, central Australia, very rare. It was 6.1 magnitude, and it was March 23rd, just 2 days ago. And so I was excited because I know of Tolec's, pending actions that he warned us of,
Okay. Mike, thanks for calling out specifically what it's all about. I can tell you this.
I heard what you said about it. Yep.
Yeah, but I have additional information for you. Given now that I have a reference point in terms of why you're asking, and it's from a different perspective. Given what's going on the planet today, and I don't mean today, literally on the 25th. I'm talking about like from the 20th through today, tomorrow, the next day. We have a period of, because of a magnetic alignment in the cosmos of planets, we have a period of heavy earthquake activity and high magnitude earthquake activity. So because of cosmic alignment, that's why these earthquakes are happening in a greater frequency at a higher magnitude today, tomorrow, the day after. Same reason for the 7.9, 8.2, whatever it was in Oaxaca, Mexico, and then the successive 5.2, 5.4, 5.3 quakes in Mexico. These are all of the same reasons. It's about the cosmic and vibratory change of this planet, and we're in a cycle of advanced change. That's the reason. It has nothing to do with taking out the bases.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought it was suspicious, the 6 mile deep part,
Yeah. But that's my full answer.
All right, Mike, thanks very much for the question. I'm going to put you back on mute for now. And the call I'm taking now is 204. Please state your first name and where you're calling from. 204. Yes, 204, it's you. Give us your name, please.
My name is Dave.
Hi, Dave. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Canada, as a matter of fact, just outside of Winnipeg.
Excellent. Do you have a question?
Yes,
for
I
Tolec?
do.
Fire away.
I'm a little concerned when it comes to this thing about just saying that there are forces fighting these reptilians and everything. Like, we know war. We know it has a cost. What's it costing the people from Procyon and that, and the other people from the Andromeda Council that's participating in this? Like we're all rooting for them, yes. But
you know what? It's a reasonable question. And thanks for asking it. Wow, this is interesting. I've never had anybody ask this question from this perspective, but I'll tell you what I know. There are two primary reasons why the people from, the collective senior members of the Andromeda Council decided to intervene in Earth affairs. And rather than give a dissertation, I'll tell this as quickly as possible. The reptilian cabal, Illuminati control of Earth people on this planet had gotten and has gotten to just a really bad situation.
Oh, we know that.
And yeah, absolutely. But if you will, and it's almost literal, reptilians, as in Draco and Hydra reptilians, are of lizard family, and if a lizard can be compared to a snake, what the people of the Andromeda Council are doing is, it's in effect cutting off the head of the snake, cutting off the power and control manipulation of that organism called bad guys, cabal, Illuminati, etc., etc. So what they determined was, in order for the people of Earth to be able to evolve safely during this time of change, as it becomes a fourth-dimensional world and people become fourth-dimensional, in order for them to evolve safely, this malevolent, reptilian, abusive, malevolent leadership, power, master, puppet control thing had to go so that people could evolve safely. The second thing is that the same leadership of the Andromeda Council, because they don't exist in time, but yet they're able to look at events that happen in time, they look down the timeline 300 some odd years, 350, 360, 400, somewhere in there, 400 years, they looked down the timeline and learned that if the reptilians, in concert with the Greys from the Orion system, were allowed to continue to control the evolution and the events of the people on this planet, there would happen somewhere down the timeline an event so catastrophic and so horrific to the rest of the people in the galaxy, they couldn't allow it. They could not allow what these reptilians and Greys have been doing collectively, collaboratively, in running the people of Earth, running their own agenda. They are the best way I can close this issue is that they are in the best way possible acting as a goodwill police force, an intergalactic UN that actually has teeth, but they only step in when absolutely necessary. Now, to specifically answer your question, there's no cost to the people of Earth. The benefit is we get to evolve and become free, sovereign people.
We know in wars, people die. There's third-dimensional people that are probably involved in this. They can die. That's what I'm talking about, the cost. Of what's the cost to them?
All right, I'm going to introduce a concept which some people may or may not be familiar with, but I'm very comfortable with. When you say die, I think you're talking about a human being's body.
Yes.
And I'm going to use that as a preface, and I'll use a comparison. If you or anybody has spent any time in corporate America, in the morning you get up, you shower, you shave, you put on a suit. In effect, the human body itself is a biological suit. Whether it wears out at 85 or 91 or 62, or it dies unexpectedly at 31 or 35, you have an eternal soul, and you also have a fourth-dimensional spiritual essence body as well. Just because your human 3D body dies, you do not die. Everything that I've ever learned from the people on the Andromeda Council tells me that this is a truth, a very great truth. Do people who are fourth dimensional get injured in this fighting? Yes, they do. Are there energetic, sound, light, color ways to heal their fourth dimensional bodies? Absolutely. But the three-dimensional people that are part of the fighting, that are reptilian and human hybrids, if their bodies die, then their bodies die. That's not the end of them. They still have spiritual.
You see, I'm concerned about the people, like from what I understand, the people from Procyon and a lot of the people from other places like Pallades, they are three-dimensional too, are they not?
No. The people from Procyon are four-dimensional people that manifest a three-dimensional body. I
see. Okay.
And so I do appreciate your concern for them, but there are a couple of things going on that protect them. One is they have the ability to manifest and create think about it like a force field that surrounds their body head to toe. Let's say it's 8 inches or 10 inches away from their body. So they have a protective force field. If that force field gets broken through and that third-dimensional person gets injured, and even if it gets injured to the point where that third-dimensional body is killed, since we're still talking about a fourth-dimensional person who has fourth-dimensional capabilities, they can manifest a new third-dimensional body again.
I hear you.
And it's a different experience than what we on Earth are used to talking about, because most of us think about, when my dad dies or your wife dies or somebody's son dies, they think that they die. And that's not the case. The body dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the body dies, but the spirit does not. That's the best explanation I can give.
Okay,
but thanks for your concern. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and also if you're talking to them in the near future, tell them there's a couple Canadians up here that are really appreciating what they're doing.
I'll do that. I absolutely. All right, my pleasure. Have a great evening.
Dave, I'm going to put you back on hold. Okay, the next caller I'm bringing on the air is 252. 252, please state your first name and where you're calling from. Hello, 252. You are on the air.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Jewel. I'm from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And Tolec, it's a great pleasure to get to speak with you finally. I appreciate your time and everything you're doing.
I saw your note earlier today. Hello there.
Oh, hello. The question that I have for you tonight, Tolec, is nothing that I've wrote you about. I didn't get to catch the show in the very beginning, so I really don't know what date, if you even set a date, that all of this has happened. But when I say the coast of North Carolina, I mean the Outer Banks, like on the ocean. I'm on the coast,
yeah, no,
okay?
I know where you are. It's a beautiful place. I've been to Nag's Head, so I know the Outer Banks. Yep.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, ever since early last week, I get up real early. I'm handicapped, and I get up real early in the morning, and I go out and I check the stars out and everything. And around 5:30 every morning Eastern Time, if I look down the ocean from where I'm at towards the southeast, I've been seeing this big sphere. It looks like a moon, but it's not the moon, but it's full. It's a big sphere. And I was wondering if that could be anything that's going on with our people here.
Okay.
Or if you know anything about it.
Okay. I understand 90% of your statement. It's the question that I don't understand. When you said, if it's anything to do with our people, can you tell me what you mean?
Well, with the Andromedan Council people and their big sphere or ball of energy that's going to be coming by somewhere.
Okay. All right. Two-part answer. So part A is the sphere that you're seeing on the horizon of the ocean. I honestly don't know what it is based on where you're seeing it, but that sphere has nothing to do with this ball of light or orb that will be manifested sometime in the near future. They're two completely different.
Okay.
Two completely different things. The second thing is I am aware that there is a sphere that was sent by the people of Jupiter that is viewable. It was sent on behalf of the Andromeda Council, but by the people of Jupiter, and it's viewable from people in the South Pole Antarctic area. And it's basically a science space station. And they are monitoring the sun pulses, the sun coronal mass ejections, both on the side of the sun we're exposed to, as well as the other side. It's monitoring all of the Earth changes. That's why that particular sphere is there. But I'm not aware of this one that you're talking about on the east coast of the U.S. Off the Outer Banks. Sorry.
Well, if you find out anything about it, please let us know, because it's been there for like a week now, and it's around 5:30 every morning, and then when the sun gets up, it's gone.
You know what? I'll be happy to ask.
You can't see it anymore.
I'll be happy to ask.
I appreciate that a lot.
Sure, my pleasure.
I appreciate that a lot, and if you'll just post me a note, I would thank you very much, okay?
You got it. Take care.
And keep up the good work, and tell everybody we love them, and to keep on doing what they're doing. We're ready for them.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I really do. You take care, Joel.
Thanks, Joe. I'm going to put you on hold now. The next caller I'm going to bring on the air is 949. 949. Please state your first name and where you're calling from.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Tolec. You're awesome. My name is Miyushu, and I've been following all of your interviews and since I first heard you on Alfred's Exopolitics YouTube. My question to you is, why is there so much confliction with 4D and 5D? I've heard that 4D. Some people say that 4D is where the evil underlings are, or the evil reptilians are, or whatever. And then we hear, and then of course I have listened to some of Sheldon Neidel's information as well. And for the most part, you guys are all kind of parallel, but there's always a little bit of difference of opinion, so to speak, or definition of things. And so I get a little confused. I mean, I truly believe there's something to all of this, and we should all be so lucky to be in your shoes to be able to have a first-hand experience with getting to meet our extended family, so to speak.
That's right. Brothers, sisters.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure for you, I mean, to even come out and discuss this, you're probably thinking, God, most people probably think that I've just, I'm a screwball or a nutcase or whatever, because not everybody has either the ability to connect with our extended family, or maybe some have and are afraid to come out because of, fear of whatever. But anyway, so bottom line is it is a big responsibility, but quite honestly, and I mean this sincerely, I'm essentially putting the same skills to work that I used when I was the chief operating officer of our firm. I'm using those same skill sets as an Earth human doing this work with and for the Andromeda Council, but more importantly, being a liaison and kind of like a reporting source to share this information to people who are interested, to people who want to know. But I'm using the same skill sets, so it's actually kind of easy for me to do this work. It's work I take very seriously, so I'm really committed to, and I go back, I bug them. I go back 3 and 4 times over the same questions over and over again to make sure that I am hearing what I believe I'm hearing and to take the notes down. That's why this final base destruction report has turned into, from what was originally a 3-page report, is now an 8-page report. And it'll probably be 9 pages by the time it's done. We finish this thing. So it's a lot of work. I apologize for the dissertation, but give me a short burst version of your question again. What is the difference between 4D and 5D? Because
here we go.
There's
okay.
Oh,
all right. Funny. I had this conversation with a friend of mine earlier today, and it was like, oh, okay, thanks for asking. I'm going to make an assumption. I'm going to make a few assumptions. Here we go. You and I and other people who are living this Earth human life have 3-dimensional, organic, gross matter physical bodies, right? And yet we have an eternal soul and a spirit essence. So we're really 3 components all blended in one. Many people believe that and they speak of it this way, when we're living and working in the space that we're working in, that space is 4th dimensional. But when this solar system and when this planet and its people finally evolve to becoming the next higher vibratory level up, many people would say that's a 5th dimensional vibration. Now, if you take the labels away, we're all pretty much saying the same thing. We're going to go from being a organic, coarse matter human body to becoming a spirit energy form fine matter body. Whether you call it the 4th, higher level 4th, or lower 5th, it's all the same thing.
So and essentially, Go ahead. Sorry.
And I was just going to say, I haven't found enough differences to want to get into, and I don't like to argue anyway, but to create an argument out of this issue. Many of the people like myself who are being exposed to this material, even though the labels may be a little bit different, the process of evolution is the same. We're going to go from being gross, coarse matter, organic, to higher vibratory, energy, crystalline-based bodies. Now, people like Drunvula Melchizedek, myself, and there are a few others, will say fourth dimension. There are a whole bunch of other people that say fifth dimension, but we're still talking about the same thing. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. So essentially, even though the physicality of ourselves right now is three-dimensional, internally, on an energy level, we are a soul and a spirit, two separate things, but working in tandem.
Correct. That's right.
And the soul and our spirit is actually fourth dimensional.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
However, we're contained in this little.
Right, and we're having a three-dimensional coarse matter human experience on a three-dimensional planet. Yeah, well said. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
That's
all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for sticking with the question. I appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Metsu. I'm going to put you on hold. And the next caller I'm bringing on the air is 307. 307, state your first name and where you're calling from. 307? Well, I think we got somebody playing games, but that's okay. I'll put him back on hold. The next caller is 646. I'm going to bring you on the air, 646. State your first name, where you're calling from.
In the Buddha yell, I gotta have more shells.
Next one.
Okay. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 callers, and I'm not going to bring you on the air unless you press 1. So, guys, please press the number 1, 480-843-772-717-541. If you want to speak with Tolec, please press 1. We've got some more questions from the chat room. Lucas Birdman asks, when will the Scouter craft begin to meet with us, Tolec?
Can you ask the question again? When will
the Scouter craft begin to meet with us?
Scouter? Does he mean like UFOs? The scout
right. I think that's what he means.
Okay. All right. I'll answer the question differently. The people from the 4 races of the Andromeda Council, Tolec, Nikote, Retol, one other, the people of Procyon and the Andromeda Council need to complete this last police action and actually perform the destruction of this base. I anticipate that will happen sometime in the next few days or so. Sometime not too soon after that, within weeks, maybe a month's time, I anticipate the people of those 4 races, there'll be some meetings that have to be held first, but right after that, they will start to visit. They'll start to land, and they'll do it quietly at night, cloaked, not disturbing anybody, and they'll be visiting with people in the United States first, and then they're going to go to Canada and a few other countries, but I don't think that we're looking too far down the road time-wise. That's my complete answer.
Okay, excellent. I have a question from Kathy's Distant Echoes in the chat room, and I've heard this question before, Tolec. Do you have a real name, and where did the name Tolec originate?
Sure. I was born Earth. Well, we're not going to get into my original spirit essence. We'll talk about my life, my Earth experience. I was born here on Earth. I live as a human. I've worked my whole life as a human like everybody else. Yes, I have a first name and a last name and a middle name. my contacts on the Andromeda Council assigned me with the name of Tolec, so I could have an Andromeda Council work name. That's it. That's the name they assigned me, so I could do this work, and so I could keep my private life private.
Yeah.
Next question.
I want to let all the listeners know I don't know Tolec's real name either. So
there you go.
Okay. The next caller I'm going to bring on is 770. 770. State your first name and where you're calling from.
My name is Chris.
Hi, Chris. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Go ahead and ask your question to Tolec. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for Tolec, all you've done. I've been listening to you for quite a while, along with Alfred. And my question is, I'm a former U.S. veteran from the Air Force.
Yes, sir.
And I'm very concerned with these mass arrests that are going to take place. I'm assuming within 30 to 60 days, for what I'm hearing from everybody. But I've never heard particularly whom will be doing the arresting, especially the people that are supposed to be high up in the government, especially like I've heard former President Bush 1 and 2. I don't know if this is true or not, and I've heard that Bill Gates has been arrested or detained. I've heard Timothy Geithner. I mean, you hear all kinds of things, but
yeah,
we're really wanting to know when these arrests will begin, who will be doing the arresting, and when they are arrested, will they be detained or will they be released on bond?
You know, you asked a really relevant question. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer, and I mean this with all sincerity. I'm not the guy to ask, and here's why. The Andromeda Council has taken the steps that they've taken to intervene and, if you will, act as sort of goodwill Marines, a goodwill police task force to level the playing field, get rid of the reptilians, and make it safe for the people of Earth to evolve. That's part A in terms of why they're here and intervening. Part B is, as this Earth continues to change and the people on it continue to change and evolve, and as we become higher dimensional humans, we are going to have a whole bunch of questions that their people, the 4 races of the Andromeda Council, are going to be able to answer about. Who are we? Where have we come from? What has this life really been all about? How many races settled this planet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the 2 reasons for which the people in Andromeda Council have gotten involved. It is not their policy to get involved in human government arrests of human people, of human governments. That's not their job. I don't know who's going to be doing the arresting. I honestly don't know. It's a relevant question. I'm sorry, I just don't have the answer.
Right. I mean, it's all over the internet, and it's you hear 10,000 people arrested.
Yeah, like you, I've seen other people write about it, and I'm happy it's going to happen because some really nasty people have been taking some really bad instructions from reptilians and others at the top of the Cabal Illuminati power structure, and they're human, and they're complicit in all these activities, and they need to be tried in a human war crimes tribunal. I would think that at least at this moment in time, that would have to be The Hague.
Right.
That's what my...
Right. Most of the information that I've been hearing is coming from Benjamin Fulford. And a lot of people are quoting him, saying that, what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. But he says, keep an eye out for the rest on television.
It's, I would think that at this moment in time, the right multi-governmental authority would have to be The Hague, where they actually have done many of the war crimes tribunals. That's what my intuition would say.
Well, thank you, Tolec, and thank you for all you do, and let the guys know upstairs that we all appreciate what they do.
Thank you very much. I will pass on the sincere message of thanks. I'll do that. Thank you, sir. Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to put you back on hold. The next caller I'm going to bring on the air is 818-818. State your first name and where you're calling from.
Hi, my name is Shara. Can you hear me? And I'm calling from Southern California.
Yes, I hear you very good. Ask your question. Thank you.
Actually, to answer the other guy's question, Interpol is doing the arrest along with the white hats, various government people from the Pentagon, military, and that type of thing. That's who's doing the arrest. So just FYI. My question is about the slide of the molten outer core, because I think I heard you, Tolec, speak on another interview saying that we're not going to have the massive destruction on the planet and that we're not going to go to, either a star or completely having to leave the planet. So if this shift is going from, say 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, what's going to happen to us, and are we already going to be in fifth or fourth dimension and not have to be concerned about that?
Okay, good question. Multiple parts. I'll take each part one at a time. What I said was people will not have to die in order to evolve and become fourth dimensional beings. All right? Second, there will continue to be changes to this planet. This planet and its solar system are entering and actually have entered the galactic equatorial plane region, where there is a high level of highly erratic magnetic energy. There's also a lot of fourth dimensional energy there as well. There is fourth dimensional energy coming from what used to be Comet Holmes 17P, which is now a blue star emanating fourth dimensional energy to this planet and a whole lot of other places. So this solar system and this planet is evolving, and there will continue to be the Earth changes that we continue to see manifested in the form of earthquakes and other things. They will continue to happen. There's a section on page 1 of the Andromeda Council website called, I think it's Time of Transition, and you'll see described all of those changes, including the movement of the crust of the Earth from, if you will, a west-east orientation to a north-south orientation, like from 3 to 12. It won't happen all at once. The people in Andromeda Council have used their biospheres collectively. I'll use a metaphor. They've used kind of like tractor beam kind of technologies to slow the rate of change on this planet, but change will continue to happen. That's my full answer. I'm not aware of the nuances of the molten core part of it. I'm just not, but I've told you as much as I know.
Okay, and have you ever heard of us going into inner pods to inner Earth, to Argonthon, which I think Sheldon Neidl talks about? Do you know anything about that?
Here's what I know about inner Earth. I've asked them about a race of people living inside the planet. They've said, yes, they're aware of them. They know about them. They know that they are more highly evolved than we are because they don't kill each other. And they have more highly evolved technology than we do. That's as much as I learned in a 5-minute conversation with the commander of the biosphere about the people of inner Earth. They don't have any, at least the Andromeda Council doesn't have any formal relations with the people that live in this inner Earth area that you're talking about. This is Sheldon Neidl of the Galactic Federation of Light. That's his.
Right.
That's his take on things. It's not mine. It's not something I can speak from knowledge about at all.
Okay. Do they have an affiliation with the Ascended Masters, like Saint Germain, Sananda, Archangel Michael?
No, I've never heard them talk about any. I've never heard them use any New Age kind of words describing Ascended Masters or names like you mentioned at all. They don't talk in those terms. They talk about the planets that are part of the Andromeda Council. They talk about the different races that they deal with, the fact that there are some third-dimensional people, mostly fourth, fifth, and some sixth-dimensional people, what their ambassadors are like. But I've never heard them talk in New Age terms about Ascended Masters. No.
Okay, well, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm happy to help however I can. Have a nice evening.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Sharon. I'm going to put you back on hold, and I just want you to know, Tolec, we're down to about 7.5 minutes. The next caller I'm going to bring on the air is 678. You're on the air. Give us your first name and where you're calling from.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. This is Rhonda from Atlanta, Georgia. Tolec, thanks for all that you do. I wanted to know if there's any new news about the chemtrails, and I also wanted to know, were they using, I know it's multi-purpose, but I was wondering if one of the purposes was to prepare the planet for a new species.
You know, in all honesty, I'm just not an expert on chemtrails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not. But I will say that for anybody that's concerned about the progressive evolution of all of the beings on this planet, human, animals, etc., if you're on this planet, January 2014, everything that they've told me tells me that if you're here, you're going to become a fourth dimensional person. And it doesn't take I'm trying to think of a word, but I'm losing it. It doesn't take any special kind of repetitious patterns or superstitious things. It can certainly help you to spend time with your family, love the people that you love, the people that you care about, be good to your friends, do things of goodwill to others, but this solar system and this planet are evolving. And if you're around on January 14th, y'all are going to become fourth-dimensional people. It's the destiny and evolution of this planet to do that. Back to the original question, I'm just not a chemtrail expert, so I'm sorry I'm not able to help you there.
Okay, and the Illuminati, they're answering to the reptilians. Is that who's controlling our planet?
Right, if you will, the head of the snake, the reptilians, the Draco, predominantly the majority of the Draco hydra reptilians. As an example, this last base that's being taken out, it's run 80% by Draco reptilians, 20% by hydra reptilians. The reptilians have been running things in the highest levels of power and government collectively on this planet for years. They are, if you will, the head of the snake. You cut off the head of the snake, and all the little puppets underneath will start to die off because there's no more support, there's no more infrastructure, no more commands coming from the top.
Right. Well, thank you so much for everything. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm glad I'm able to help.
Thanks, Rhonda. I'm going to put you back on hold, and the next caller I'll bring on the air is 570. 570, state your first name and where you're calling from. 570, are you still there? It's your chance to talk to Tolec. Hello, 570, you're up.
Oh, I am?
Yes, what's your name?
Oh, sweet. Sorry, because I'm listening to it on my computer and my phone at the same time. So my computer didn't get it. So all right, this is sweet, though. Thanks for taking my call.
What was your name?
All right, so my name is Logan, and I'm calling from northeastern Pennsylvania.
Okay. Fire away.
And, well, I mean, I'm still in high school, and, I'm, trying to spread this kind of information. My friends, teachers, family, a lot of people still think it's ridiculous. But, I totally embrace it all, and I really want to serve and be a part to help through all this, help the Andromeda Council, the whole 9 yards. So what is the best thing I can do as of now to become a part of this? What is the best thing I can do to help? Because I want to be there on January 1st, 2014. And believe me, I think that the soul is eternal. I'm not scared of death or anything like that. But I just really want to help. So what's the best thing to do?
Yeah. It's really a great perspective to have. I quite honestly, I commend you for your sincerity and your willingness to help. This is a really interesting topic, and I could talk a long time about it, but I'll do my best to keep it brief. The best thing that you can do is the following. For people who are aware and or are awakening, if they are interested at any level whenever they ask you questions, provide your knowledge, provide your collective knowledge at the same level that they are asking those questions. If they start to bump their own seeming knowledge level up, then answer in a more comprehensive manner. Because as everything that I've learned about spiritual law indicates, and there's an old saying that says, when the student is ready, the master or the teacher will come. And what that means is you can't provide an answer that's more complex or at a higher level than somebody who's at the 3rd or 5th grade. If somebody's at the 14th or 16th grade, you can provide an answer to that level. That's what it's about. So do your best to be aware of the level that people are asking questions, and answer accordingly to the best degree that you can. That's my complete answer.
Do you care if I ask one more quick question, or do you want to give everyone else a shot?
Well, go ahead. Ask a question.
Why do you think they picked you, Tolec?
Wow. I've had this question asked a couple times. I think it's a combination of a couple things. I think that ultimately this is what I was supposed to do at this moment in my life. Why? I think one of the reasons that it taps into a lot of my own natural gifts and abilities. It's very easy for me to listen to some really complex concepts, break them down, and then share them with people in a very plain spoken manner. I seem to do that really well. So that's another that's another reason, and another reason is that I have some kind of connection with the people who are at the Andromeda Council level, from a spirit level, from when I was originally born thousands of years ago. There's a connection to them. So and that's consistent typically when people get contacted. You usually get contacted by somebody who is of your spirit family, is from the planet you're originally from. Those people usually contact you. So it's a combination of things. But that's, without getting ego into it, that's the best answer I can give you.
All right.
Thanks, Logan.
Cool. Hey, thanks a lot. You take care.
I appreciate the call. Wow, Tolec. Last time I checked, I want to thank everyone in the chat room, all 254 of you.
Oh, my God.
People are listening.
Mark, hey, Mark, you got another 3 hours?
Well, we'll just have to schedule another show now, won't we?
Yeah. We'll do it again.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate everyone calling. And, wow, fast hour, man. Keep in touch, and we'll try to get something maybe scheduled for next month, maybe.
Yeah. And if I may, I would like everybody to keep a lookout on the Andromeda Council website. I anticipate certainly within a few days, maybe a week's time, of the actual final report of the final destruction of this last base to be posted. I think we're pretty close to this action being wrapped up. So keep your eyes peeled, and the report will be posted. You'll be able to read it. That's it from my end. Thank you to everybody, and Mark, thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak again. I appreciate it.
It's my absolute pleasure, and I want to thank Logan, Rhonda, Sharon, Chris, Metsu, Jewel, Dave, Mike for calling in, and everyone else for coming to the chat room. Tolec, we'll talk again soon. Have a good evening, sir.
Take care. Thanks again, Mark. Bye-bye.
Good night.